All right, no witty banter, nothing. Let's just go ahead and just jump right into it.
I'm on.
What?
I don't know. What?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, this guy needs coffee and coolers. Stat.
All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Coffee and Crullers, the podcast where two best friends come together. They try to take you out of, the rut that you're in or whatever situation you're partied out. This is the place to come. This is the place to kind of get refueled, have a good time, forget about stresses of life.
Yeah, and just chat and talk about silly things, sometimes serious things, but mainly it's just silly things.
Silly things.
Silly things.
All right, so join us on this episode of Coffee and Crullers. I recommend the Sugar Pucks. They are excellent.
I don't even know what that means.
It's Wayne's World.
Oh, okay.
All right, anyways, I'm your host, Adam Black. With me,
Noah Allen, how's it going, everybody? Every time.
They can't answer.
I know, right? And it's just.
But literally, right before, just jumping into this.
Yeah.
Right before we started this podcast, my wife, she just ran in here. Like we just had this happen. She ran in here and was like, "There is a giant bug in the in the fridge."
Yeah.
I don't, like she's like something by the fridge.
Yeah.
And she was like, "I got to go kill it."
Yeah.
And
So if you hear a random screaming or commotion, it's not. It's just
this is happening.
It's combat.
This is happening currently. She's on the hunt for a giant bug.
Yeah. It's just combat. That's all.
But anyways, so this has been fun to reset this up. I tore everything down over the weeks that you were gone, because for the past 2 weeks you have been. Oh jeez,
I'm dying.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, for the past 2 weeks, we haven't recorded a podcast or anything because.
I've been busy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, when you get soda down the wrong pipe.
Yeah, I think you'll make it through this one.
Yeah, I hope so. Anyways,
yeah. In the past 2 weeks, the last time we recorded a podcast, we did two at
weeks.
once.
Yeah, we were thinking ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, and so I tore everything down, and in the process of tearing things down, I'm actually just curious. I knocked over almost every single one of these toys.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's on this shelf.
Yeah.
And I think I put them back pretty much exactly where they went. Not all of them fell, but the big atom bomb in the back fell, and I moved some things around.
I mean, it looks fantastic. There's a couple little new tidbits and things. So, I mean, it looks good, though.
The one thing, for the people who are watching this on video,
Yeah.
I always want to, describe, what some things are, because I love toys and all that stuff.
Of course.
But this is something that you brought.
Yes, this is my... I'm not a pop vinyl collector whatsoever.
But I am.
You are, yes.
I hate it.
Yeah. But for me, I just... Because I was going to. When they first came out, I was like, I want all the Star Wars ones, man.
Right.
Yeah, that's impossible. So I just have a couple of key things here, like the Yoda and the prototype Boba Fett. But... my pride and joy is the Tommy Boy ones.
Yes.
Because that is my all-time favorite comedy of all time.
It's such a good movie.
It's perfect.
But we set up the pops because it's him, where he rips the coat, fat guy in a little coat.
Yep.
And then it's just Richard. But we tried to make it the whole scene of...
Yeah. Oh, it's perfect.
So even though he's turned around, you get the ripped coat.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, that's my... I've been playing fantasy football this year with some friends, and that's actually the name of my team is Fat Guy in a Little Coat.
Oh my God, is it really?
Yeah, it's Fat Guy in Lil Coat, because you can't put little because there's...
too much, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantasy football, man, that's something... So today, when we're recording this, I guess we'll just go ahead and say that you're a huge football fan.
I am, yes.
I am not necessarily.
No.
I like football.
I drag you along.
Yeah, I mean,
it.
I don't not enjoy it.
Yeah.
I just don't actively,
You don't follow.
Yeah. I'll watch a game if it's on.
Yeah.
But the Bengals... today,
Yeah.
first game of the season,
yes,
technically,
and they won.
And they won
The first time since 1997, they beat the Colts in Indy. Which is
on the
impressive.
road. That is impressive.
So that's good.
Kind of a history-making game. Yeah, I watched the game while when we came home from church and stuff.
Yeah, my heart melted today though, because I went to pick up my daughter.
Right.
Because she's the one that I kind of I've been fostering this. Again, I'm a Bengals fan. Sorry.
Right.
I know it's a horrible past, and
it's a rough upbringing.
Existence. At least I'm not the Browns, but I mean
that's true.
Sorry, Browns.
Sorry,
fans.
people that live in Cleveland.
Yeah, we're sorry. Although, good job today. You at least gave the Steelers a tie.
Do we know what happened yet?
They tied.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just tied.
Okay.
So,
right.
you're equal to the Steelers.
You're equal.
That's
I
good.
don't like either of them.
Yeah, right. No, my daughter, I was like, yo, the first games of the season, do you want to watch it? And she was like, can we watch it with Mama at Mama's house? I'm like, yes. So, of course, I went to go pick her up.
Of course we can.
Yeah, so I went to go pick her up today and driving her there. And she's just like, tell me what's happening. I don't know who these people are. Because, of course, I had it on the radio. It just started.
Oh, okay.
So we were kind of missing the first little bit. And so I was explaining to her, and she was getting all like, yay, or is that good? I'm like, yes, it's good. Or, oh, no. Oh, is that bad? Like, explain it. So she's getting into it.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
That's super sweet.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I like football. It's like like we said, it's kind of a rough upbringing if you're a Bengals fan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a hot minute since anything good's really happened.
Well, I would say through the early 90s.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah. At least I would say at least 2000s you've had glimmers of hope. But they've always been dashed on the rocks of despair.
Whenever that happens, I always think of one of my favorite things in the movie "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Yeah,
where he kills a gopher, and he goes, "Gopher Everett," like offering it to the guy. He goes, "No, it would only arouse my appetite." That's how I feel about the Bengals' lifespan. Like I'm almost there.
It's like
yeah.
But anyways, no, it's a good thing. Good start to the season. So I'm kind of excited for
But
it.
on another game note,
yes,
something that we can both communicate with very well is we've been talking about a lot of video games lately.
We have, yes.
And
I got inside scoops.
I know, and that's why we've been talking about it a lot more. And I don't necessarily want to talk about just video games. It's not a video game podcast. But so today, before the football game started, I went to a local game store.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about this for just a second because I found one of my favorite games ever, and it's a tactical game, but it's called Ogre Battle 64.
Yeah,
and it's a rarer game. It's kind of difficult.
I've never
to find.
played that ever.
So when I found it, I was like, I've got to buy this. I don't care what the price is. I'm buying this game. I love it. But one of the things that stood out to me is one of the reasons I loved it was the soundtrack for this game. Okay. And it's like old school bit style music.
MIDI sounds.
Yeah, but it's amazing. I loved the soundtrack for this game.
Really?
And it was just making me think with all the stuff that's happening in modern gaming and all that, I always resort back to older games.
Yeah, you're a retro guy.
Oh,
for sure.
Hands down a retro guy. But I was just wondering if there was a game that stood out to you. I'm just super curious, that you liked for a different reason other than the actual game.
That's a good question. There was this one game. It was for Nintendo 64. I know I've probably talked about it before, but I can't remember if it's called Dragon Kingdom or Kingdom of the Four Dragons or something like that, or Four Dragons, and it had a four-headed dragon on the cover or on the picture. And you could pick between. It was like a side scroller, so you could pick between a cleric, barbarian.
And this was for the 64?
For the 64, yeah. And it was another obscure title. And my friends had it. And when I would go over to my dad's house growing up, we would try to beat this game. Because obviously you could play with 4 people, and we would try with 4 people to beat this game.
Right.
Could never do it. We'd get to the 5th or 6th level, and then we'd all die. No continues. We're done.
Right.
So I borrowed it from him one time. And took it back to my mom's house for the week or for 2 weeks, and I was sick or just decided not to go to school. I don't remember. Don't judge me. But I literally stayed home all day, played through the whole game, and actually beat it by myself.
Okay.
Took it back to them and was like, guys, I beat it, and they literally could never believe me. They never believed me, and it was like. But I did it. It's I wish that back then I had a smartphone. I could take a picture of the ending, be like, ha, and that's just.
There's only one game that I beat and I beat it with a friend because I think
Yeah.
I don't think there's another way to do it. Honestly,
Right.
there's only one game that I beat where people questioned whether it really happened or not.
Yeah.
and it was the first Halo game on Legendary mode.
Now that's impressive.
We beat
Yeah.
it. Like we went all out and we
Yeah.
beat it on Legendary mode. We beat it so much that we were like, we're gonna get Legendary tattoos.
Oh my gosh.
We never did it because
Yeah,
we were.
thank God.
I mean, it was when
I
Halo
mean-
came out, so we were not even able to get tattoos.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Um,
Yeah. 2000, 2001, something like that. 2000, 2001.
I don't even remember.
Yeah. Whew,
I was
that's a long
young
time
enough
ago.
to know that I couldn't get a tattoo, but I was old enough to know that I wanted to get a tattoo.
Right,
of
right,
it.
right. Yeah, yeah.
So whatever age that is, but that was the only game that I ever felt that way about, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody believed me.
You know, going back to Halo, I never tried to do the legendary stuff. Like, I'm not that kind of a person.
Right.
Until the second one came out, and it was huge, like a huge, game. I mean, it was just one of those things. And I remember I got through the first level and a half on legendary,
Yeah.
and I was like by myself, and I
it's
was like,
rough.
I'm done. I
Yeah.
just can't. But
It's like not even fun.
yeah, no, it's not. But the on the other side of that is like Call of Duty, the first like Call of Duty 2, because that was on 360. So
Right.
2, Call of Duty 3, Modern Warfare, all 3 Modern Warfares, and the World at War, and Black Ops. I literally 100%ed those games on the veteran level, like the hardest level you can get.
Right.
That was like my challenge. Every year a new one came out, and I'm like, I'm veteran this thing, man. Like I'm gonna get it all the. And the
Yeah.
hardest one was World at War, because at the very last level, it's like you're the Russians storming the Reichstag in Berlin, and there's dudes everywhere, and it was like you had to get to the save points, or the points where you knew it was gonna like save.
Right.
The checkpoints or whatever,
Right.
and it's like you had to like figure out a way to get there.
Yeah, and it's hard.
It literally took me probably about 2 or 3 weeks to actually beat that level,
Yeah.
just knowing like where dudes are coming from, who's throwing, because it's not even dudes just coming at you or shooting at you. They're like lobbing grenades left and right at you. Like it's insane.
It's super difficult
It's
game.
hard. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I hold that, like, and I still have that under my profile
I love
on Xbox. Like
I
till
love
this day.
difficult games. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, but let's go ahead and let's get into our top stories.
All right, let's go.
Over the top. Top story.
It gets me every single time. I'm gonna start this one because
Yeah.
one of the top stories is one very near and dear to my heart. Honestly, I feel some sort of way about it.
I know.
But Adventure Time
I know. Goodbye.
is now done. I legit almost might cry.
Oh my god.
It's such
Did you guys actually watch it? Watch the last season?
no.
I haven't either.
I am I'm actually like 2 seasons behind
Oh, okay,
in the
okay.
ending.
Oh
And
yeah.
I got the emotional music happening right now to
yeah.
kind of tell you how I'm feeling a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I've. It's funny. I have purposely not watched the last 2
Because
seasons
you just don't want it to end.
because so I'm late to the Adventure Time game.
Yeah.
Compared to most people.
Because I showed you that. like,
Yes,
you
when
had
it was
never
like
seen
in its 3rd or 4th season, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And so I watched them all up until like that point. So like season 7, I guess it would be, or season 8.
Right.
And I watched up to the point, and I feel like I'm at a good spot where I'm like,
It'll never end.
I'm just happy it's
Yeah.
never gonna
Yeah.
end. And then they announced last year that the last season was this past one.
Right.
And yeah, so
Yeah.
so I'm a little sad about that
Yeah,
one.
I unfortunately I don't have cable, so I can't watch it.
Well, let me can this music real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah. And abrupt stop now.
Yeah.
I have not actually watched it just because I don't have cable, so I'm kind of
Little-
waiting for the
little
Hulu.
Jake the
Aw,
dog.
Yeah. But I heard it was good. But that's how I felt with like regular show when that ended. That was upsetting.
Yeah, and I actually did not watch the ending.
It was good.
I heard it was good.
Interesting.
I love regular show.
Yeah.
Regular show makes me like stoked on the 80s, like nostalgic and like this is what I want.
Yeah.
But Adventure Time is one of these really unique shows
Right.
that makes you feel a certain way that is like anything's possible.
Well, yeah, and I think Adventure Time was one of those shows that like that's my brain, like random, random,
Like all the like the little
strange
farts and stuff that happen.
Yeah, like just random things that just happen. It's like yeah, that's my brain every day. Like I just don't let that stuff out because
Right.
if it gets out in the world, strange things might happen. I don't know. Like so.
See, I love the moral side though of like not just the goofy stuff of just how Finn is this person that is like we gotta crush the bad guys all the time. And there's one episode that really stood out to me that I watched recently again because it was on TV. Where he goes to like the land of thieves and everybody's stealing from each other. And then he ends up stealing and he's like, wait, what? No, I'm unclean. like I love him so much.
It's a good show. It's I'm curious to see what replaces it or what the guy Adam Soto, I think his name is, what he does next.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be something.
Yeah, I thought there was something announced, but I can't remember.
Never going to be as good though, and and that kind of leads into like the next show that we know is ending. And I like the show, not a huge fan of it. I could care less, honestly. But Big Bang Theory is ending.
Been after what 12, 11 seasons.
Yeah, it's a long run. But then so they're doing a new spin-off television show called Young Sheldon,
which has been out for about I think it's in its second season.
But like in my head, I'm sitting there going, okay, this has gone too far.
Yeah, well, it's also that. And
I just hope the Adventure Time thing doesn't go that route.
Right? Yeah. Well, that's like today watching the football. They're like Murphy Brown's coming back, and I'm like, I hated that show as a kid.
Right?
Like,
Nobody wanted to see that show.
It's like what?
But it was a hugely successful show. Wasn't it? Yeah, I just don't. I don't
even remember what was that about. I think she was a news person.
She was like a female, like one of the first female people or something. In the news. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, honestly.
That's not for me. I don't know.
No.
My only thing is like there's just a loss of originality at times, and it's like we're
which is why like I get like emotional about like Adventure Time.
Yeah, because it was original.
And it was the first cartoon that like I watched as an adult that made me feel like I was a kid again.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's the hard part, you know, is like you watch regular show, which I love that. And SpongeBob, because SpongeBob came out when I was a kid. Yeah. But it's still out though. Like it's one of those lifelong shows, it seems like. Mm-hmm. But Adventure Time, I mean, I was a solid
you were an adult.
Yeah. You know, when it came out and I was like, oh, no, I'm 7 again. You know, that's a special feeling.
I think the other one that's not too bad is Steven Universe is that way too. But I've kind of fallen off of that a little bit just because of I don't have cable.
Same here.
You know,
I've only seen up to like I don't even know, like season 2, whatever Hulu had at the moment.
Right.
And then it ended and
you're like,
didn't have cable to keep up. But I love Steven Universe. I really do love Steven Universe.
Yeah, that's another good one.
I just, as we're talking though, I'm just like, oh God, we are giant children.
We're man babies.
We're giant man babies. No, I love. There's nothing wrong with loving this side of entertainment.
Well, that's like me with my Star Wars-ness because it's like they're bringing back the Clone Wars, and I'm like,
you're Cloud 9.
Oh yeah, I would literally laugh like a little girl. I was like, oh my God.
But one of the other top stories though, besides shows that are ending, is you just got back from a conference with GameStop.
Yep.
And this is not a sponsorship with GameStop. I feel like I need to add that now.
Yeah, definitely not a sponsorship.
Yeah, because we talk about this a lot.
Yeah. No. So I just got to see, it was kind of cool.
Yes.
I got to see a lot of gameplay and a lot of stuff for games.
Of just new stuff that's coming out.
Yeah, everything that's coming out this year and into next year. And
so before I say my favorite thing, though, because I have a favorite thing that they announced at this conference for you.
Yeah.
Do you have one thing from that conference that kind of stuck out as this is awesome?
There wasn't really anything we weren't allowed to talk about with anybody because every time they announced it, they were like, by next week, everyone else in the world will see it. You're just getting the first stuff.
Right.
So it's like now it's been like
okay,
over a week, so I can
what
talk
of those
about
things
everything.
Are?
I was impressed by how crazy Sony is.
Yeah,
like
they're really over the top,
and they're awesome. Like I'm not a Sony person at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm an Xbox person, but their presenters and just how they are and treat people and stuff was just very like, oh wow, okay.
So
that's cool.
so a company stood
Yes,
out more
yes.
than a game.
Yeah. Well, no, I shouldn't say that, because the last thing I saw before we left was they did a gameplay of Red Dead Redemption.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, wow, this is incredible.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is very important to add.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption
Yes.
is like one of our favorite games.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
I remember very clearly you guys got the game. And when
yeah.
I say you guys, so Noah here, I'm
Yeah,
looking at the
that's
camera
me.
right now.
Yeah.
Noah is my best friend, and then along with our
She's
best
my best friend.
or our best friend Blake as well. And when we play online, it's pretty much just us that play.
Yeah,
and
pretty
you
much.
and Blake were playing that game and said, Adam, we're having a lot
Yes.
of fun. You need to get this. We're playing online. And I said, okay, whatever. And I went and I bought the game. And I bought like
it was hours of fun.
I bought like the greatest hits version
Yeah,
of it.
like game of the
And
year.
I never do that. Like
Yeah,
I hate
yeah.
buying greatest hits version. Excuse me, burping.
Yeah.
Still burping.
Oh my gosh.
But anyways, so I bought the greatest hits version and we started playing, and I will never forget
Yeah.
that we invaded this town and we found the little prison, like the little small jail, and we jumped up on top of the
and
roof
we just started shooting NPCs
for like
hours.
13 hours.
Yeah, hours. It was like, and they just kept coming.
And we kept going back and forth between being public enemy number one because we're all
that's
killing
right,
each other.
that's right.
And all the other online players would come and we just gun them down.
But what's funny about it is like that was at a time where that no one played the online. It was like sparse.
Yeah,
and there wasn't anything to do. Like it was like Rockstar didn't really know how to do online yet.
Yeah.
So like they had an idea, they set it up, but then there was nothing to really do. It was like,
Right.
let's just go to these hideouts and kill this gang. And then we were like, no,
Let's
we're just
kill
killing
each other.
Yeah, yeah. So,
so
but,
much fun.
So, but the gameplay for this,
yeah.
like, you know, it starts out, the guy's like talking, like reading through, like, hey, no questions, no applauses, just we're gonna do this straight up gameplay demo. Who's gonna play it out, and I'm
Right.
gonna talk about the things that are on there. Cool. So I'm sitting there, it's going through it, and he's just introducing all the people that is part of the gang and all the stuff that's part of the story or whatever. And then it gets to a point, and my boss is sitting next to me too. By the way, it's like my boss and like all these people I don't know from another district, and I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, cool, all right, Dave, whatever, and we were watching them, and your main character is like on a horse, and it's like going down a rocky hill, and literally rocks dislodge and start rolling down the hill on their own. And I just looked at him and I was like, that is literally the coolest thing I have ever seen
Yeah.
in a video game.
It's like very realistic.
Like it was so, I was like, is this real or is this
Yeah.
fake? Like I'm not understanding reality right now.
Yeah.
Like it was that cool, and that's what impressed me the most. And then the fact that when they got done, they was like, oh yeah, that was just playing on the PS4 Slim, not the Pro system. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, okay, that's incredible because it looks so dang good.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
I mean,
really
unbelievable.
excited. I'm really excited for that game. But the one thing that I took away from this whole thing,
Yeah.
and I should add that I was not there.
Yeah, you were not there.
This
Yeah.
is something that I found out because they released all the information and
Yeah.
everything. And going back to me loving retro stuff
Mm-hmm.
is a company called Arcade One Up
Yes.
is releasing 3/4 size scale arcade cabinets.
Yes. Yep.
And
Street Fighter 2, which comes with like an
It's-
actual like a different like you have different skins for your characters too.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
it's Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Champion Edition,
Yeah.
and then like a Deluxe Edition. There's 3 versions of the game,
Yeah,
basically. But then they also did like Rampage, Centipede,
What was there's a
Galaga, and then they
right,
did.
Galaga. Yep.
The one that I want is actually not out yet, which is the Final Fight arcade
Oh,
cabinet.
yeah,
'Cause
that
I
would
love
be
the Final
awesome.
Fight game.
Yep.
But my wife and I decided to pre-order the Rampage cabinet.
awesome.
I am so stoked
Yeah,
to have
yeah.
an actual arcade cabinet, whether it be, a
And they're-
modern take on it or not.
The cool thing about it is that they're compared to what an original full size cabinet is.
Yeah.
Which is upwards of $1,000 at least.
Yeah.
It's like $200. That's
Yeah.
a great deal
Yeah.
to like have an arcade cabinet, and then you You can buy the risers to make them stand up. I mean, the way they had it set up on the sales floor, because I didn't tell you this yet, because we have an expo, and the way they had it set up was like there was little seats, like and they like had them back to back, like it was a little tiny arcade, like old school arcade
Which
aisle.
I
like
love.
as because as a kid, I mean, I would go into the what was it, Tri-County Mall, like from my dad's house. I would just walk there.
Yeah.
As a kid, again, like I'm like 10,
Right.
11 years old, and I'm walking a quarter of a mile, if not a mile, to an arcade inside of a mall to basically spend my allowance to play arcade games, which thinking nowadays, me thinking my daughter would be out at 10, 11 years old,
Right, it's
walking
kinda-
almost a mile to go play.
Not happening today.
Not happening. Like, heck no. But I mean, so I love arcades, and it so sucks that there's not that out there anymore.
Right. So see, this is like
Yeah.
it almost makes you think that it's gonna become something.
I hope so.
I want it to. I
yeah,
really
me
do.
too. Me too.
But I'm so stoked. So one of the reasons why I'm so stoked on these small cabinets, though, because when my wife and I moved here to this place that we're at now,
Yeah.
this is where our home studio is. But one of the things that I really loved, because we had the space for it, was I wanted to get us an actual arcade cabinet, because we have this perfect spot for it. And I was like, it would be amazing. It would be like so cool. You know, it'd be the coolest thing you could do. And I was looking them up, and I found, I started sorting by price, because the games that I want were not going to happen.
No.
I mean, like a Pac-Man machine is still even like $1,200 to $1,500, and it might be in bad condition.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. And then the one game I found was Karate Champ, which is old karate game. But the reason I wanted it was because
Bloodsport?
It was on Bloodsport.
That's right.
It's the game they play in Bloodsport, which I loved. And then we just did like the logistics of it, and it was like, how are we going to get it up these stairs? How are we going to pick it up from this guy? There was so much involved.
Right.
That was like, this is difficult.
just can't happen.
But then when you pre-order this one, it tells you, and I watched unboxing videos already, it comes in a box that is literally no bigger than the table that we're sitting at.
Yeah.
And it comes flat because it's a flat LCD screen.
Yep.
And then you just put it together like a piece of IKEA furniture, which means you can take it apart like a piece of IKEA furniture.
I actually had a friend who actually built a tabletop cabinet like that, put a computer in it, is running all whatchamacallit, ROMs on it.
Yeah, emulators,
yeah. And that's so that he has every single arcade game that's ever been made outside of the ones you need a gun to shoot with on his tabletop down on the bar in his house.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
That.
Built the whole thing himself. The whole cabinet, built it.
So good.
Yeah, painted it, did everything for it. It looks awesome. I mean,
yeah.
And I think he found the instructions online and was just like, "I'm just gonna do this one day."
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Might as well.
Yeah, I mean,
but I'm already at the point, and we haven't gotten ours yet. It doesn't even release until I think the end of this month.
Yeah.
But we pre-ordered ours. We pre-ordered the Rampage version, and it is going to go in our living room.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's going to be super cool. But I'm thinking about it, ordering a second one eventually.
Yeah.
For the background here and for us to play and do competitions on.
That would be awesome.
Maybe make it the Street Fighter version.
Yeah.
And whenever somebody comes to the studio, they got to play at Street Fighter, try to break the high score or something like that.
I actually got to play the Street Fighter one. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like, it made me feel old a little bit because,
The rumor.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a video game podcast. I am sorry. It's been what's on my mind recently.
Right.
But the rumor with these arcade cabinets is, I guess they bought the licensing. You're gonna poop your pants.
I hope not, because
The X-Men arcade cabinet.
I will buy that.
4-player. They're
I
talking
will buy
about
that.
Maybe making an extra wide cabinet and all these things, but 3/4 size still. 4-player X-Men.
The cool thing about it is if you put it together, you can also take it apart to move it.
Yeah, if you need to.
I need it.
I'm gonna be Colossus all day long.
I was always
Wolverine.
Wolverine, yeah, always.
I know, but I'm Colossus.
I think we had this
That's
place.
why we get along.
We had this place at Family Fun Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went $1.25, I think, playing that game like 4 times.
Went the whole way.
The whole way through like 4 times.
So
With $1.25.
So
Yeah.
good.
Oh man. I think I love the Turtles in Time was a good one, arcade game.
They also have the licensing for that one.
Oh, dude, I'll buy that one too.
There's a bunch. That one stood out too.
Oh my gosh.
So exciting. It just makes me excited for the retro future, because that seems to be what's going on.
Yeah, I can deal with that.
Retro future.
Yeah,
we'll
why
call
not?
that a thing. But hey, let's we're gonna wrap it up here in a second. But I want to, keep it at Coffee and Crullers related. I'm pretty sure people are happy about all these things,
Right.
But so you did the conference, you had fun. All
Oh, yeah,
those
of course.
things. One of the things that I did while you were gone,
Yes, fill me in.
is I officiated a wedding.
Yeah.
And so if my friend Neil is listening,
Yes.
again, congratulations, Neil.
Congrats, Neil.
I helped hitch him and his wife, Dana. And I have to say, it was I haven't done a wedding in a while.
Yeah.
And it was very fun, but also, like, I forgot how nerve-wracking it was.
Oh my gosh.
Plus,
Wasn't it like really hot?
it was extremely hot.
Oh gosh.
And so basically, I had to go out and like buy a whole new outfit and all these things. And I thought that I was really underdressed, and it turns out I was overdressed versus.
Oh my gosh.
It was a big thing.
Yeah.
But one of the things that happened is so obviously I'm a big guy on the weight side and on the height side.
Right.
And so the wedding setup was at the Cincinnati Observatory, and there was like 2 stairs that they stood on, and then I stood 1 stair above them because that's where we had to do the thing at. But the problem is they're like, I think both of them are like 5'6", and I'm 6'1".
So it looked like you towered.
So I towered over them, which is funny. So like I kind of just like looked down at them the whole time.
I am Giant Adam.
But then the kicker, and this grosses out some people that
Yeah.
I sweat so much or whatnot. It was we were all covered in sweat. I mean, that's basically, it was an outdoor wedding and the sun was shining right on us.
Oh yeah.
But after the wedding, the bride comes up to me. She was like, "You sweated on me during the ceremony," and I was just like, "I'm so sorry."
You just go, it's just so hot.
Yeah, like
I can't help it.
I was like so embarrassed, but
Oh
also
my
like,
gosh.
hey, what am I gonna do?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm reading, I'm swiping, I'm doing all these things.
Hey, you shouldn't have had an outside wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, jeez.
No, it was a
Oh, man.
beautiful wedding though, very hot. But it was
Yeah.
at the observatory. It was a lot of fun.
Oh,
So
awesome.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the encouraging thing that I want to share with people.
It's good to know that like your life doesn't stop when I leave.
Yeah, it doesn't stop when you leave, but
you,
also
you and Brittany do things. Good.
yeah, but also I think the real kicker here is sometimes it's scary to do something.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's worth it though.
Oh heck yeah.
That's
I
the
mean,
positivity I'm leaving with today.
Well, it's like I had at my conference, I was on there with a guy who in my district who I didn't know. Like
Yeah.
when we roomed together. I mean, I know him. Like I
Right.
met him a couple times.
We're not super
Yeah,
well.
not to like. So that was a little not nerve wracking because I mean I flow with anything. Like I really don't
Yeah.
get overworked or upset about anything. I just kind of roll with it. So. But that was fun.
Yeah.
And then just like it was nice for me because I have my inner circle of people that I'm with all the time. So for me, I was just branching out, meeting new people, like getting that whole like getting to know the people that or work I work with in my district, and like
Right.
getting to know like random people. Like one day I sat down for lunch and pardon me, talked to the distributor in Louisville for
Right.
the company, and so it's like cool, like what I mean,
Getting
It's
out of your comfort zone.
yeah, and it was interesting for myself because it's like again, I'm an old man at heart sometimes,
Right.
and I don't like to
And
do
you're
that.
like, "Well, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
go
like,
over here and just
I just want to sit in my bathrobe on my chair,
Yeah.
like
It's funny.
Like, sometimes I do
think
that.
I think we can both agree with this. Is sometimes it's very uncomfortable at first. It is not always fun, and it could be very scary. But
Oh, yeah.
when you're leaving the event,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm so happy about everything that happened.
I do have to admit that there was two rooms we had to go to that I was like, oh dear God. There was a Riggs headset one,
Yeah.
which was cool, but the guy that was talking had the softest, most mellow voice.
We're gonna
and I'm
talk
just
about
gonna
headsets
yes, and
today.
it's like underneath your seat, pull out the headset and just
Oh
put it
no, I
on.
couldn't do it.
And I'm just going to talk to you and we're going to discuss. And that's literally how it was. And so we're all sitting there. And again, it's like we've been doing this for like 9-10 hours.
Yeah.
It was the last one of the day. And we're all just like, please, God, stop. Like, we're all going to fall asleep.
End it.
Yeah.
End it.
And then the other one was, I Thrustmaster did a presentation, and
For
it
the
was
wheels, they make
yeah. And it's like we walk in there, and their first mistake was it was the last one of the day. The lights were out when we walked in.
Mm-hmm.
All it had was just like a light on the podium and the screen, and that was it. And we literally, I literally was just like, please God, I'm trying to pay attention so bad. But it was like. It was like, and then the temperature was just perfect, and I was like, "This is the perfect sleep time." It was
Everybody's falling
hard.
asleep.
Yeah.
No offense. It's a bunch of GameStop employees.
Yeah.
They're falling asleep.
Yeah. It was everyone was struggling. It was awesome.
They're like, we came here for this.
It's like yay, it's nap time.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know.
But it was great fun, so
Good.
I enjoyed it.
Well, cool. Well, I am so happy that you're back though, and
Yeah.
we're gonna have some more episodes coming out. But again, I want to. I hate brain farting at the very last minute.
I know
It happens though.
Yeah,
But I remember what I was going to say.
Okay, good.
If anybody has any suggestions, comments, feedback, or anything like that, we are still a smaller podcast right now.
Yep.
But it really warms my heart. Huge thing is there's been a lot of people in our life recently that have been saying that they listen to the podcast or they watch our videos.
Mm-hmm.
And it really makes me go, oh my gosh. People are listening.
Yeah, definitely.
Specifically, somebody told me them and their kids they'll listen to the podcast.
Nice.
And
Nice.
that's a great feeling.
Yeah, that is.
So when that happens, I always just want to say this is still like a small community we're building.
Mm-hmm.
So for anybody that has any suggestions or comments, please send an email to coffeeandcrullers@gmail.com. Or if you can leave comments on our SoundCloud, which is actually our direct host. For this podcast. But if not, you're listening to it on iTunes or Google Play or anything like that.
Yep.
Or whatever podcasting device you are listening to. I know there's literally thousands of options out there now to consume media. But we want to hear from you. We want to know some more topics so we don't just talk about video games the whole time. But it's been our life over the past few weeks.
Yes, it has been. Yeah, it's
There's
just
nothing-
that time of year, I guess.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, of course.
Next week we'll talk about a lot more fun things.
Of course. Why not?
Yeah. But anyways, that's it for this episode of Coffee and Crullers. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
All right, bye.